if you were an astute viewer, you can tell that this is a new location. I moved offices. Hoping this is a more permanent setup, but yeah. Um, not a time's been going on the past week. Um, uh, the big thing is, I'm going to add some Christmas songs. In fact, we might work a little bit on it tonight. Maybe a little bit early. I'm going to really practice them probably starting after Thanksgiving. Um, but we'll add them as like the lead up to the holiday season. Um, Other than that, we're mostly working on the same things we've been working on before, where we play through standards, see how we're going, um, and then from there, see how we're doing. Um, sorry, trying to. I got a warning that my bit rate is low. Hopefully that comes. We shall see. All right, let's just play something. Let's play Blue Bossa for a little bit. Listen in. Yeah, it seems fine. YouTube's giving me a warning about bitrate, and that's because I really haven't figured out a good solution for the Wi-Fi. But at least to me, it sounds fine. But we shall see. Maybe it'll be much worse. Again, test stream, so no guarantees. I might have to figure something out. But we shall see. Let's now go into some of the chord melody, playing multiple. I think of it more as playing multiple voices on guitar. So last time we had exercises where it was just holding. So we've been doing a lot D minor. I'll stick with D minor, right? And almost all the exercises have involved with thinking of our bass in this lower octave here, and then our melody as in the upper octave. And just a recap of the different things we've done before. We've done pretty simple chords, so stuff like this, where we're just going through the scale of chords. And as we're talking about scale with the scale chords, you can do all the different scale things. A nice strategy is to try and if it's similar to a scale, you can do all the different ways you practice it, like thirds, arpeggios. So, for example, what does the arpeggio of this sound like? Well, go 1, 3, 5, 7. So you got 1, 3, 5, 7. And what does thirds sound like? You know. Same way you can go down. Should be this. Sorry. I forgot. I don't know the shape of the lead, but no. But you get the idea. I can revisit it. Actually, should be down here. I think it's this. Oh no, sorry. Should be diminished. So what is it? Is there major? Major's here. Oh, it is this. Done. No, it shouldn't be diminished. It should be major. So it should be this. So it should be. There we go. Figured it out. So that was working with all the different stuff with scales. What else? What else have we been working on? Oh, let's revisit. Sorry, I was just making sure everything's going okay on that end, on my string end. Before we were doing stuff where it was like holding down the bass line and doing the scale stuff on top, so you get stuff like this where it's. And then, you can move up the bass line, for example. And you can keep doing this. Practice the stretch. Like, this is the hardest stretch by far. In fact, this is pretty difficult, right? And probably the furthest stretch that you can ever do. I mean, this is a stretch of 5 frets, involving both your index and pinky finger. So you can do that. But I think the next level after that is thinking about doing a bass line with the lower voice. So, for example, something like this, where the simplest, let's think about this in chords. 4, 5, 1 is probably the simple. I mean, we're talking back to the basics of all music. So let's think of a bass line in the lower voice. The one I recommend is something like this. So it's 4 in its third, 5, and because we're in a minor key, let's do the strict dominant. So you get this kind of, raised. Well, it's not raised. It's the major 7th. And then since you're already here, let's go over the half step up and just follow the arpeggio down to the minor chord. So you get a bass line that sounds like this. now what can we do with this? Well, let's do the same idea we were doing before. Let's try and follow. And our lower voice, we're going to do the bass line, and we're just going to go up the scale in the upper voice. So you get this. Oops. So again, we're just working on flexibility, all right? And back to one of the central rules I've said, the most important thing is to be able to build your own exercises. And as you get better at doing these things, as you get bored, finding a way to expand it. And that's what I like about a lot of this stuff, this multi-voice stuff, and why I'm talking about it so much, because this is kind of the building blocks you need to start getting up to, playing two voices in a real way. So what's another thing we can do with this bass line? And we're doing a lot of exercises where we're playing them simultaneously, but you can think more generally. You don't necessarily have to do it together, right? As our upper voice, let's do the scale up and down, but our lower voice, we're going to do the bass line at half speed. So you get something that sounds like this. Here. What's another thing we can do? Well, we haven't done the scale down. Let's reverse directions. So generally, our arpeggios are moving up in the lower voice, except in the end where it goes down, right? But we've done everything with both voices moving up in the same direction. Let's try and do some opposites. So the top voice is going to go down, and the bottom voice is going to follow that bass line. And that's very similar to the exercises I was talking about before, right? That's another example of different stuff I've been working on. But another thing you can do, let's take the lower voice, and we're going to ascend, and the top voice we're going to go down the scale, and we'll meet in the middle, right? So you get stuff that sounds like this. You can reverse it. And again, we're really working on our hand flexibility in this horn position. But as I was saying before, what we can try, and back to this bass line concept in the lower voice, is let's go down the scale on our upper voice and follow that bass line thing. And again, let's play it together at first. So you get this. And you get some very interesting intervals, right? This one right here is a pretty nasty one. It's a major seventh. What else can we do? We can do the same concept, but at double speed. We haven't done double speed in the lower voice, right? So. Let's try again. So. Let's see, what else? Keep with this so it's easier. Again, you can come up with all different exercises. The important thing is just something you haven't done before, something that's challenging to you. Again, just keeping with this idea. Again, the new concept though is in the bottom voice we're actually thinking about bass lines. So in that sense, let's investigate this, right? Because I recommended going 4 in its third, 5 in its third, and the arpeggio down. Well, maybe we can work out. Let's try and play the other notes of the various chords. So 4 is going to be a 4 minor 7. So what are we missing? We are missing the 5, which on the 4 should be, right? We have this. And we're missing the 7, which should be the flat third, right? So that's the first inversion of the chord. So let's see if we can. Let's go octave. Or sorry, let's go to 1. And then here, let's play the 5. And the same thing with G, or well, sorry, it's not G. It should be for D minor. It should be A is the 5. Playing 1, 3. So for A dominant 7, what else are we missing there? We got 1 and 3. The 5 should be. 5 of the 5 should be the 2. So let's just keep it simple and play. We know you need these tones, so we go. And then maybe you play the octaves all the way down. It's back to what we were doing before, where we need, let's start with flat 3 this time. Oh, wait. And with that, you're building, real vocabulary. I mean, some of that stuff sounds really nice. So I think you get the idea. We're just building up exercises, and stuff you can do. Now let's move to let's play a little bit of It Could Happen to You. And we'll do how we've been doing the past few times. And for me, let me put my guitar down for a second. What we're going to do is I think we're going to up the speed a little bit. And we'll just have the melody in the background. Then we'll do the same thing. As I was talking about before with Autumn Leaves, it's kind of funny that it's flagged for copyright, which is funny to me. Again, don't want to get into that. But I think what we'll do is we'll go, It Could Happen to You, Autumn Leaves. We're going to try and avoid the melody, so we'll do that with, I think, like iReal Pro. And then we'll come back and do the same thing with It Could Happen to You with iReal Pro. So let me get this going. Yeah, it sounds right. Okay, give me about 12 bars so I can get back in time. Um, let's see. What do we think about that? I thought that was pretty good. Again, I feel like I gotta listen back. Maybe that's not a bad idea for a stream one of these times, is to listen back to some of her solos and critique them in real time. I think the hardest part is I need some separation from what I just played. Um, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna break out my phone and break out iReal Pro. Or sorry, it's not. Yeah, it is iReal Pro. I'm not worried about that. Let's do Autumn Leaves. And we're gonna start over because I'm definitely not ready. And again, we are not playing the melody. And not too bad. I think I got to really work on the chords as, I mean, even just going over them real quick. Um, oh, sorry. Somebody. That was Autumn Leaves. But I'm trying to avoid playing the head because I believe it is Paul McCartney who owns the right. So we are using the chords for one of the most popular standards in jazz. I mean, everybody plays on leaves. But before I was talking about the chords. So it's C minor, F7, E flat major. Sorry, B flat major, E flat major. Do I have that right? No, it's B flat then E flat. I'm wrong. So it's C minor. This is B flat right here. B flat, E flat, A diminished, D7, G minor. Same thing again. It's a second 2/4 and then the first 4 in reverse order. So it's very similar. It's the second 2/4, but it does this like descending line. So it's A diminished, D7. Then it goes G minor, G flat, 7, F minor. I believe that's definitely E7. Should be. And then you just go back to. No, sorry. So, yeah, I've learned the chords pretty well for Autumn Leaves. Man, I'm having quite a delay. Learned the chords pretty well. I just, for my own curiosity. Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, I'm again test stream. You're figuring out in real time. I will see the playback. Yeah, sorry, John the Bard. I don't think you're. I think you're no longer in my awesome live section. But the first one was "It Could Happen to You," and right now we're working on Autumn Leaves. In fact, we're going to switch back over to "It Could Happen to You," yeah, we'll go from there. And I think it might be wise to do more sections that I've been doing before. So let's try and do, again, we're just trying to build up our stamina on this type of stuff. Again, trying to, play as long as we know. And for this, I'll just go to full screen because there's not going to be any video. And we're going to up it to 7 times. So we're going to play through seven choruses. And usual rules for this type of stuff. First time, melody in. Last time, melody out. So. that many times improvising. Man, I must have suddenly lost count. But I mean, I didn't. Again, I feel like I need to listen back. But my at least immediate reaction is, I thought that was pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with how that went. Um, yeah. Let's see what else we want to do tonight. I think I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter, just because test stream. I really gotta look at see my bit rate is okay. I'm interested in looking at the playback. So I think what we'll do is let's do White Christmas. I think I have it up here, but let me see if I have. Boo! No, it's not in this pack. All right, so we're gonna have to do our usual way of doing it. It is right here, and we're probably not gonna play it literally, but we start on E. So. Switch back to putting it on this other screen. Make sure we have the repeat set up properly. Let's see. We're gonna do it live. Sure, we'll keep playing a little slower than I've actually played. That's very annoying. Let's just go through. I can tell you the melody. It starts on E, it's in C, but it just goes starting on the third. It just rocks 3, 4. So it goes down to the flat third. So it just chromatically walks up to the fifth. Starting on the 6, 6, 6, 7, 8, 2, 8, 7, 6, 5. And then starts on the 1 after that. Ends on the 2. Hello, Maxwell. Second time around, instead of going back to the first time around, it was like. So instead, the second time around, 5 octave. That's nice. That's probably mostly my amp. In terms of tone, I really like these scratch guitars. I heard a lot of good things about this. I've been really impressed, especially for the price point. I do have I have a Les Paul, and frankly, I prefer this a little bit more. But a lot of it's the amp. You're probably hearing some of the reverb, but it's also a semi-auto that helps a lot with jazz. But yeah, I love this guitar. This guitar's great. And I was a quick funny story about that is I was going to pick up the red version of this, but the lady at the large guitar store said, "Hey, you want to look at other colors? I can open up a package in the back." And she went and got out this individual guitar in blue, and I was so happy she did that. But yeah, so that's the story how I got this guitar. I really recommend Gretsch guitars, especially if you're looking to get into like beyond your first beginner guitar, that you're really going to grow into these things pretty well. Eventually, I'm probably going to swap out the humbuckers. I think that's there's always going to be some compromise. I've seen many people say that the um, the pickups are always going to be something to upgrade. Right now, I think they're good enough, but definitely I would long term, maybe put new pickups in this thing. But other than that, this thing plays really great. My favorite jazz lick. That's a good point. Well, first off, I don't necessarily think in licks. Um, but huh. I mean, the thing that sounds nicest to me. I mean, I like pivot arpeggios. So, for example, instead of playing it up like that, pick a note and then go down the octave. So before it'd be this. So right, that type of stuff. Um, what else? What other stuff do I like? I mean, I like Coltrane stuff. I mean, John Coltrane's one of my favorite jazz players. I don't know. His patterns are nice. I mean, man, I'd have to really think about it in terms of licks. What's my favorite? Yeah, again, it's hard for me because I don't really think about that. I mean, I can tell you the type of music I like. Um, all of Joe Pass's stuff is really good. Um, Again, that's kind of the inspiration for a lot of the. I was talking earlier about like chord melody playing. Um, that's a good point. I mean, there is the lick in jazz. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Probably play that for you. The most infamous. Yeah, and we have the tab. Okay, one second, one second. So it goes like this. There we go. That's my favorite lick. Is the lick. And if you want some history as to why this is played so often, well, not necessarily history, but motivation. This goes up starting with E minor. It goes up to the fourth, and then there's an enclosure around the root note. And that's why this lick is very commonly seen in jazz. Um, yeah. Oh, sorry. I think I'm catching up to your comments. Yeah. Um, it's the reason it sounds good is because it's an enclosure around a target note, right? If you don't already know this, right? Let's say, so I'm playing B flat. You can um, you can do all types of things to target that note. Usually, what you do is maybe play a step below and then go a scale tone above your target and then go. Or you can do the opposite. You can go. So, keeping this. You go. that's the idea of an enclosure. Um, and yeah, sorry. That's it sounds good in a lot of contexts because it's very simple. It's scalar combined with an enclosure. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, a very famous a very famous thing. Anyways, yeah, keep asking questions. I'll try to answer them. Or I mean, you want my history? I used to play trumpet. I won. Me and my brother both won our high school's Jazz Player of the Year award. It's the Louis Armstrong Award. I'm hoping sometime to find the certificate or something. But yeah, I used to play. I can still play trumpet, but yeah, I played a ton of jazz stuff in high school. Um, we weren't that good of a program though. Yeah, it's good to hear that you play trumpet too. Well, I guess you got prime time now. I mean, I'll even tell you my history. I actually auditioned for music school, um, in at uh, uh, I didn't get into the first school I wanted to, but then I auditioned at another regional school and did get in. But I didn't do it. The reason why I didn't go end up doing music education is because the would have forced me to do the marching band, and as a brass player, I hated doing marching band because it destroyed my chops. Um, and So I didn't do that and studied math instead. But I still play the guitar. And that's that's how I got here. But I seriously pursued music during my college years. Um, my audition piece was the Hummel Trumpet Concerto. Um, I should have thought about doing jazz studies. And again, an inspiration for why I call these videos jazz studies is it's surrounded around playing five standards. And if you can figure it out, given my history of which college it is, I will be very amused. But it was this insane audition requirement where like no, you get no music, and you got to do five standards, and you got to comp and play all of them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to repeat here, being able to do that. Now, White Christmas doesn't count. I'm just trying to gear up because I want to play some Christmas songs for my family, and usually for Christmas, I'll like record me, making some music. But yeah, I mean, so that's some of the background. It's the same college that I auditioned for. I think I did music education there too. That one that I didn't get into is the same jazz studies program that I saw all this stuff. Um, but yeah, yeah. Great to hear that there's a fellow musician in the chat. Um, yeah. Anyways, back to White Christmas. Um, let's just play through it a few times. I haven't worked on the chords yet, but maybe try and improvise, just knowing what the melody is. So general plan: White Christmas, skating, and I think at least some version of um, Giraldi. Isn't that Charlie Brown? Vince Guaraldi, Vince Guaraldi, um, uh, O Tannenbaum, which is O Christmas Tree. That's my plan coming up. Yeah, man, I'm glad we had people actually in the chat, making moves. Of course, on Twitch, I don't think I'm ever going to get anybody, but Maxwell, if you're still here, feel free to let me know how you found me. I don't know if you. Uh, I used to. I mean, now we're going on maybe 6-7 years ago. Used to have a different YouTube channel here. Um, I'm just curious how you found me. If it was organic or if you were already subscribed to the channel from that time period ago. But given that you said you were in, didn't you say? Your jazz ensemble. Yeah. Anyways, I'm happy. I'm happy to play for people. Oh, really? That's awesome. Um, that's really cool. Um, yeah. So usually how I end these is I play the stuff I knew or stuff I feel comfortable performing at least. I'm gonna end out with my very simple arrangement of Misty, and then I'm gonna call it a night. All right. This one sounds slightly out of tune, but it might be. I have to look in it. My intonation of my own guitar. So that's what I had for tonight. Let's see how long I made it. And made it just over an hour, so I think I'm gonna call it. Well, thank you, Maxwell, for watching. Feel free. Let me know. There's anything you really want me to play. I'll look into knowing it. Other than that, hope everybody has a good night, and probably see you soon.